Why is it when you need a miracle, it doesn't happen, but when you least expect it, it happens?
You are married, you have challenges in your relationship, but your spouse is unwilling to accede to any counseling. Is divorce an option?
How does a parent handle a promiscuous child?
What are considered the do's and don'ts of a born again couple who is not yet married?
There are always more questions than answers. So here is Apostle Jemma.
Grace and peace to you. Welcome to Ask Pastor Jemma. I must begin, as I always do, by thanking God for life. I don't know if it's a thing that happens to you when you reach a certain age. Every single day that you wake up and you see the sun, you say, okay, I'm alive, thank God. When you slip out of your bed and you realize that you can get up on your own volition, you give God praise for that. When you walk across to the bathroom, brush teeth, and do whatever you need to do in there, you thank God that you can function normally. Many times we turn in the bed and we open up our eyes, but I've known people who, when they try to move, couldn't walk, couldn't get off the bed on their own volition. And there are those who couldn't even go to the bathroom. And there are those who can't, their bodies don't function normally. So there is reason and cause to give God thanks for everything. We thank God that He has allowed us to enter into 2026. And I give Him praise for that. I really am happy. In 2026, Apostle Vivian and I, in a few months, we'll be celebrating our 50th year married. And we had a very difficult and trying time in 2025. Didn't know if we were going to be together in 2026, and here we are, still alive, still together. And so I give God praise, and I believe that He spared our lives, and we are going to see that 50th year to give Him thanks and to celebrate His goodness in our lives. I thank God for you and for your support in 2025. I know many of you who would have been aware of what was happening with us, and our family prayed for us. And listen, I thank you for your prayers, and I would want to appeal to you that continue to give us a little 1 minute or one liner. Just say, God, keep Apostle Vivian and Apostle Jemma and the family. Lord, bless Apostle Vivian and Apostle Jemma and the family. Just one line, one sentence. I'll be happy to get from you. In the event that you are first timer, my name is Jemma Duncan. I am married to Apostle Vivian Duncan, and together we pastor Divine Destiny Worship Center. Our headquarters is in Diego Martin, Trinidad, on the Diego Martin Main Road, opposite Sardonyx Drive. We have branches in Sangre Grande, in Shoguanas, in Faizabal. There's a branch in Tobago and one on the island of Antigua. Our regularly scheduled service Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. in every branch. We are live and we are online as well, so you can catch us. If you are not in a position to come to a live service, you can catch us online. Our business center is in Diego Martin, and we open from Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The office hours are from Monday to Thursday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now, there may be a couple special events that we are going to tell you about, and pay attention to those. If you were with me last week, you would have known that we are going back to Q&A. There are times when I would switch from the Q&A. The program is called Ask Pastor Jemma, so primarily it's a question and answer program. This week, I don't know if you might be able to answer more than one question, but these questions were fielded to me in a Ask Pastor Jemma session in Atlanta a little while ago, and I thought that I would come and share it here with us on Ask Pastor Jemma in Trinidad and Tobago. The question is, what do you do if you have someone on your team who you trust, but when you give instructions, they appear to circumvent or undermine you as a team leader? And I underline, when you send me your questions, when you ask me your questions, I underline certain words there, and it says trust, that this leader trusts this person. And so they would give instructions and give responsibility to the person. Now, if that person is like me, when I trust you and I give responsibility or something for you to do, I don't look back. I don't like to be looking over your shoulder, simply because I trust you. So when I give that instruction or whatever I've asked you to do, I expect it to be done and done well. I believe that if someone is given a task by a pastor or some leader, a group leader, and you are unable or incapable, or you don't have the time to fulfill that task or obligation, then you should say so. It's okay to say, I won't be able to do this. I'm probably at another time I'll be happy to oblige, but in this case, I can't do this. I won't be able to do it. Right? Or if you feel that you don't have the capabilities, say, I don't feel that I have the capabilities. If I get somebody to guide me along, I will try to do it or something. But you need to say something and not, ignore the instructions given, and it may appear that you are circumventing or undermining that person. And the person said, give instructions, right? And sometimes we will have to probably look at how these instructions are given. And then they say they appear to circumvent and undermine. The person asking the question didn't say that they circumvented or undermined me. They said it appeared. So it seems as though you're not really sure what's happening there. Is that person really undermining me? Is that person circumventing me? No. If we're going to try to respond to this, you cannot judge this individual because of one situation, one event, or one error, or one misstep. For you to come to some conclusion that person is, these are strong words, is to circumvent or undermining you as a leader, it has to be on more than one occasion, unfortunately. No, if you're like me, some people, you want to deal with it one time, you go for the jugular, and so on and so forth. But because people are human beings and we make mistakes, we make errors, certain things, we have to give the person a chance. So give that individual a chance and pay attention. Then now you're paying attention, strict attention to what is happening there. How do I determine now when I give you another chance or other chances that you're not really deliberately undermining me or circumventing me? We have to have a conversation. So that conversation, I would choose to be the one who would take blame perhaps and put it as though I did not communicate well or I did not communicate effectively. No, the truth is I would believe that my communications were clear because I communicated with you as with everybody else, and everybody else got it clear except you. However, for peace sake, I would approach it, by saying, look, I observed this happened and I gave these instructions, but I realized that you did not do what I say or how I said it or whatever, and I'm wondering, is it that I have not communicated effectively? Is it that you didn't quite understand what I said? And so, going in future, what we will do is not just have conversations, but we will follow it by writing. So we could do WhatsApp, we could write it, take minutes, take notes, and that will not apply to that individual only. Because you don't want to look as though you're picking on that person because you feel why the other persons were not treated the way. So whatever new strategies you will be using, you apply to everybody. And so you say, you know what, I didn't communicate effectively. So tell me, this time when I'm giving you another instruction, tell me, do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I want you to do? Could you ask me questions to clarify what you want done? And furthermore, I'm going to follow it up with something written. So I'll send a WhatsApp, I'll send an email to say, so respond to me to say if this is what you understood that I asked done. Right? If there is an issue in terms of time, then we work with timelines. Before, I would just give the person a task. But that person dilly-dally and wait too long, the event is coming up, and just a week before, we had months of supposed preparation, and then you come and you didn't start yet, or your last minute or so, we will have timelines, and the timelines would give me time and space and avenues to regroup if that person continues to behave in that manner, because there's some people who will persist in that behavior. So the timeline I'm giving you, in the event that you didn't come up with that timeline, I will start putting something in place, getting somebody else or doing it on my own or something like that, which is something that as a leader you don't want to do. I don't want to give somebody a task and then end up doing it. It doesn't make sense, because you're going to literally kill yourself if you try to do everything that you give other people to do, right? And so here we are, treating with this situation as if you were the one who did not communicate properly. And now we observe. So we put everything in place. We try to clarify communication. We try to clarify instructions. We give timelines and whatever other parameters that you would want to give. And then you give the person a chance. Let's see what happens. And there are some people that you really wouldn't see any change. Some people, if they're well-intentioned, and if what appeared wasn't really what happened, that was not that person's intention to circumvent or undermine you, then you would see a change. Some people, because you're so specific, they may have had negative intent, but it has become apparent to them that perhaps you're picking up on it, or to other people, then they probably will try to align themselves a little better. And there are some people who want to blatantly disregard whatever efforts you make and go ahead and do their own thing, and to show you that they wanted to undermine you anyhow. What do you do when the negative happens? Well, before the negative happens, what do you do if that person readjusts, realigns? And I would want to compliment the individual and say, I really appreciate it. I see a difference in your whole approach. Thank you very much. And perhaps, it was my lack of proper communication. And going forward, I will try to clarify whatever instructions I'm giving you, so you can order yourself based on what you get clearly as a way how you should go and what you should do, and so on and so forth. If that person totally and blatantly ignores you, then you still have to have a very difficult conversation with that person. I want to give you an experience that I've had. We have many ministries. Apostle Vivian, what he does is he would choose among them which of them that he wants to give me oversight over. So each ministry would have a team that's leading the ministry, and he would say, okay, you will have oversight over this one, that one, or something like that. Now, the expectation is that they would communicate with me. I will help guide them along. I don't try to dictate what they do. If you put somebody in charge or a team in charge, then when they come to ask me, I say, go to your committee, go to the group and come up with some concepts now. Don't be asking me all the time what I want to do and so on. If we having like a foreign speaker coming out from somewhere to do something, then I would get involved there. They will say to me, who do you suggest? And I will come up with some person or persons. If they suggested, they will send it to me to see, what you think about this individual coming to speak, and so on and so forth. In the main, when they come up with like a speaker, I really wouldn't object, right? I mean, there was one time that it was not an objection. It's somebody who I admired. I have gone to sessions where that person spoke very eloquently. I mean, they really know their information. However, I felt that individual really was very intellectual in their approach and spoke, above the heads of the average person. This is just my point of view. I consider myself relatively intelligent, and I grasped what was being said, but it was, it took some doing for me to navigate through all the language and all the linguistics and all the fancy terms and so on. If I want to have something in church, my main view is for people to understand. I don't want you to you don't need a dictionary of terms or some kind of thing so to grasp something. I believe simplicity in language is absolutely important. So anytime I do something, my language is always very simple, simply because you have different people, different skill set, different intellectual levels, different understandings, you have different ages, and so on. And so what you try to do, make it so simple that the youngest could understand, but the oldest will also understand as well. The person who is an intellectual could understand, and those who are not so inclined will also grasp it. And that was the only reason why I did not say, yes, bring this individual here. If I would go to sessions and if I would send certain people, choose leaders, there are certain people that we would send, and even if we have to pay for them to go there, but when they get what that person is offering, come back and break it down in bite-sized pieces to your general group, right? And so somebody who is blatantly rejecting every move you make, then you have to have a conversation. I was going to give you my example. And here, this person, well, of course, the leader of this group, and Apostle Vivian says, okay, you, traditionally, this is one of the groups that you are assigned to, and this individual or the representative will come to you to give you a little feedback, heads up as to what they're doing for the year or so. I waited, and nobody came to me, and I tried to call the person. I said, well, you know, I'm expecting to come to tell me what the plans are, the year is rolling out, please, let's see if we could arrange it. No response. I met the person in the churchyard. I deliberately went outside, and I said, well, I tried calling and communicating. I didn't get something from you. I'm talking to you face to face. I would like you to come and see me, or somebody, a representative from the team, to tell me what's happening and give me a sense of what is happening. I had to pursue that individual, and finally, reluctantly, the person came to talk to me, and they came with a set of old scrap paper with notes written all over, little jottings and here and there, and talked to me for a while. Now that person, from these jottings, told me what they plan for the year. I said, you know what, I cannot remember everything you tell me, and what I'm going to suggest that you write it out, print it out, type it out, and send it to me, and send a copy for Pastor Vivian, so two of us will be on the same page. And the person said, well, I'm not techno-savvy, I can't do this. I said, somebody from your team can do it. And if you can't communicate, you don't have to be the one to do it. Assign somebody to do it. That person never came back to me. And on numerous times I attempted to communicate, and it never happened. And I just left it alone. I decided, okay, this one is not seemed to appear to, right? But I had observed that particular person in that same ministry before that person was assigned leader was not a very good follower. And immediately I could tell if somebody is not a good follower, chances are that person is not going to be a very good leader. And I left it alone. I didn't even go back to Apostle Vivian to say anything. I didn't complain, and I left it alone. It didn't work. I don't know what happened. The ministry almost went to naught. It was a thriving ministry with a number of people, and it boiled down to little. The next thing we knew, the person disappeared. We went to preach in some church and found the individual there. It was there that person wants to give an explanation for leaving. I refused to listen. Apostle Vivian is kinder and more gentle than me. And I said, you could talk to him, not me. This is not the forum, the place for it. What do you do as a leader? You humble yourself. It's not about you. It's about God. The ministry is bigger than you are. And there may be people, and there always will be, people who undermine your ministry, who undermine your authority, who undermine what you do. You forgive and you move on. Don't make a federal issue. It's not always confrontational. And sometimes I want to confront, and there are times when I would have had to. Confront is a strong word, right? But by and large, leave it up to God. It's God's church, and He knows how to navigate some things in the church and bring it to God. And you put yourself out of the picture, right? Because sometimes there's this cartoon where this character in the cartoon trying to kill a fly takes out this big gun and shoots up the whole house, mash up everything, and then the fly just flew out of the window. And there are times when situations come up, and because we want to fight and deal with this individual and so on, we could cause so much collateral damage. And it might be easier just to give that person, rope, let them, and eventually they're going to make their play and do whatever they do and find their way out. What people don't realize, and you as a leader, and I say it from time to time, and I may upset some people, that in an experiment, you have certain variables and then you have constants. You as a leader must understand, if it's the top leader, pastor, and that kind of thing, that you are constant. That every single person in that ministry represents a variable. And people must understand that. And if you are viewing me, and you are at variance with your leader and can't agree and tries to undermine whatever that leader is doing, remember you are variable. That leader is a constant. Is the leader always right? Not really. Do they know everything? Not really. Are there people in the congregation who know more about certain things than the leader? Yes. But those people are not the leaders. And if you humble yourself, pray for your leader, then God is going to give you leeways to go and help strengthen the hand of your leader. Lift up the hands of the leader instead of trying to undermine that person. You have to wait on proper timing. You are not the leader. I hope I helped you there.
Who is a leader? And what does leadership look like? Are leaders born? Or are they made? After 3 years and thousands of hours of research, author Donald Duncan returns with his brand new book, A New Mind-Skin Leadership Superpowers, 100 Governance Proverbs for the Marketplace. While each leader's journey is unique, there are some common principles which govern all leadership: good character, team building, change and crisis management, strategic thinking, upskilling yourself, emotional intelligence, communication, leading leaders, self-improvement, and doing the work. These form the 10 sections of the book, which each contain 10 chapters, followed by 3 superpower activation questions which help you immediately apply these principles to your own life. A New Mind-Skin Leadership Superpowers will be available in paperback, hardcover, ebook, and audiobook formats at Amazon.com, Audible, and all major online booksellers. Visit Amazon.com to order your copy today.
We're taking a short break. The Marriage Confessional with the Duncans will return soon with fresh, new episodes.
On Sunday, February 22nd at 9 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. And Tuesday, February 24th at 5 p.m.
Stay tuned.
Then Moses said, "Please, show me your glory." Exodus chapter 33 verse 18 in the Amplified Bible. In the spring of 2022, after 2 years of the COVID-19 pandemic, God said that it was time for His church to begin preparing for the next Great Awakening. He said that what was coming next was a manifestation of His glory on a level that our generation had never seen before. While we have no quantitative means to prove the full extent of this, we believe that many Christians across the globe have also been looking forward to this unprecedented outpouring of the Holy Spirit. Some call it revival fire, while others call it a sovereign move of God. Some call it a shift in the Spirit, or any other number of titles. Nevertheless, we're all in some way or another referring to the same thing. God's presence will be manifested on the earth in such a remarkable fashion that it will forever change the trajectory of the Church of Jesus Christ first, and then the world. This book, Knowledge of the Glory, Preparing for the Next Great Awakening by author Duncan, is a prophetic message from God to help His church prepare for it. Available in paperback, hardcover, and e-book formats. Pick up your copy today at Amazon.com or any major online bookseller.
Don't forget what Jesus says. He says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except by me."